What is going on, everybody? It is Friday. Finally Friday. Another week where I have not made it out of this truck back home again. Crazy, 2 weeks in a row. That's usually not how it's supposed to go, but this is the Insanity Report for Friday, the 30th of August, 2024. It's 6:40 a.m. here in Germany, and we have got to talk about two different things today. The first thing is that one of the January 6th protesters, they would consider, of course, him an insurrectionist. He got sentenced to 4 years last week, right? 4 years. Now, just think about this for a second before we get into what his actual crime was, okay? The guy has been in limbo for 4 years, because January 6th was more than 4 years ago. So he's been in limbo for 4 years. What's going to happen in my life? Court costs, legal fees. Maybe he was in jail this whole time. I'm not even sure about that. You know, he might not have ever been released on bail. So then basically it's 8 years, right? So he's already had his life fucked up for 4 years. And then now he's got to go do 4 years in prison for what he did was he was one of the first people through the door in the Capitol building when January 6th kicked off, okay? Now, he went through he opened the door through a window that was already broken, so he didn't break any windows. He didn't get stopped by anybody. There was nobody guarding anything. He walked into the building. Then when he was in there, he gets confronted by a cop. They demanded to know where the votes were being counted or where the deal was happening. The cop told them that, by this time he was joined by other people. He didn't get violent. He had an altercation with the cop verbally, so he yelled at a cop, right? And then when he found out that there was not going to be a recount, there was not going to be a stopping of the vote count, the guy, after 20 minutes of being in the building, left, went outside, and watched the rally or watched the riot and the protests go on from outside the Capitol. So that's what he did. So, yeah, did he trespass? Yeah, probably. I would say that's probably trespassing. He didn't break anything, though. He didn't assault the cop. He didn't do anything violent. And I think that his problem is, in court, when the judge was talking to him, he was adamant that his vote was stolen, that American citizens' votes were stolen, that the process was corrupted, that the election was stolen. And so, his crime is he didn't show remorse for what he did, which, hey, I respect that. I don't think they should have any remorse for what they did. I think the guy's right. I think that people's votes were stolen. I think the election was rigged. I think that the Democrats played a lot of fucking fucked up evil games to be able to secure that election. As a matter of fact, they wrote about it in an article written by a woman named Molly Ball, and they wrote out the whole thing. It was called, what was it called? The Secret something. It was the fortification article, if you remember it. So, how to fortify the 2024 election to make it go the right way. They told about Zuckerberg. They told everything that they did and how elites and big corporations and companies basically fortified the election so to make sure that Donald Trump didn't win. So to sit here and say, no, this was the best election, the most perfect election in the whole world, that's obviously complete and total bullshit. And I think that being called on the carpet like a little kid in front of the judge, and the judge says, you will repent, right? And the guy didn't do it. And I think that's what got him 4 years. I think that because he didn't say, oh, I'm very sorry, I'm an insurrectionist, and Donald Trump is the worst fucking evil person on the planet. I love Joe Biden. Kamala Harris should be the next president. I don't know what got into me. I was blinded by radicalism on the internet, and I will stay off the internet from now on ever, sir. Please, sir, let me go. Right? He didn't do that. And that got him 4 years in prison. So now the guy's lost 8 years of his life for walking into the Capitol on a day when he didn't get stopped at the front. He walked in because there was a broken window that somebody else broke, and he had a verbal altercation with a cop. Look, guys, I hate to tell you this, but child molesters get less time, okay? child molesters get out of prison faster. Well, here in Germany for sure, and in America I'm sure sometimes too, than this guy will. 8 years of his life gone. Okay? Because that's the thing that the left likes to do. They like to use the process as the punishment. Right? So they let this dude rot around for 4 years, and then at the end of 4 years, right about the time Trump's about to become president again, and if he does, the guy might get lucky, Trump becomes president, these people get pardoned. I'm pretty sure. And that'll be amazing. And maybe that's what the guy's counting on. Maybe that's why he didn't repent. Maybe he's like, fuck you. Soon my man's going to be elected again and he's going to get me out of here. It would be a big gamble, but I respect him for not getting on his knees in front of this judge. I respect that. But think about that, man. And the people that think this is okay, think if it was you. Think if it was you, when Brett Kavanaugh was getting ready to be, put as one of the justices on the Supreme Court. And you were one of the protesters there that thought he was a gang rapist in college, right? And you were protesting and you believed this guy's a gang rapist. Obviously he's not. Total bullshit. The whole thing, total bullshit. But you believed it, okay? You believed it. And you went into the Capitol building while they were, because that happened, right? When Brett Kavanaugh was getting ready to be anointed to Supreme Court, there were a lot of protesters in the building, right? Disrupting, causing problems. None of them ever got prosecuted. None of them ever got arrested. Nothing happened to those fucking people, okay? And if it did, it was like a fine or something, okay? But just imagine you're one of those people that think this is okay, right? Just imagine you're one of those people and you were there, you were protesting, and you were in the Capitol during an official proceeding, and you get charged with disrupting an official proceeding, trespass, and an altercation with a police officer because you didn't agree, and you didn't touch the cop, you just yelled at him, and they fucked your life for 4 years, right, by keeping you in limbo about what's going to happen. So extending the whole deal for 4 years long. Maybe they kept you in there for those 4 years. Because that's happened to a lot of January 6 people as well. They didn't get let out on bail. They're still in there rotting 4 years later. I mean, this is not a democratic country, people. Sorry. Right? And then they slapped you with 4 years prison time. So your life is basically over. You're a felon. When you get out of prison after 4 years, the likelihood that you'll still have your family, you won't have your house anymore, everything's going to be sold off because you won't be able to pay for it. But you'll probably get a divorce. People aren't going to wait for people for 4 years. Your kids will hate you. And then you're out. You can't get a fucking job. Your life's basically over because you trespassed in the Capitol and didn't agree with what the establishment wanted to force down your throat. Now, just imagine if that was you. Now, I know a lot of those people out there are listening to this thinking, yeah, but it's not me, so fuck that guy. Okay, good. That's fine. Then I'm sure that you'll be okay then with what's coming when Trump becomes president. Buckle up, okay? Buckle up. I mean, it's madness, people. I'm sorry. It's complete and total madness. It is third world country shit. And, wow. Part of me is glad I don't live in America anymore at the moment. I wish I would live there again when Trump became president. But I've established my life here. Germany's not doing that great. Not to tell you, but I can leave Germany. If Germany gets too crazy, I can just fuck off, go to a different country. I'm not worried about that. I don't have to live here, right? But America, under these Democrats and under these leftist ideologues, they've really, really tore that country down. I mean, they've made it disrespected by every other country on the planet, right? They are seen as a weak country with weak leaders. The cluster fucking Afghanistan basically gave Putin the red light or the green light to go ahead and go into Ukraine because America was too weak to do anything, and it's a laughing stock. It's a laughing stock. For America to go and talk shit on the Venezuelan elections, that's crazy to me. For them to talk shit about the killing of Navalny in Russia, that's crazy to me, right? Because America does exactly the same shit. They're exactly the same. They don't have integrity. They don't have the moral high ground. Please. Putting people in prison for 4 years and letting them live in limbo about it for 4 years as well. So taking away 8 years of somebody's life because they didn't agree with the establishment and made their voice heard is fucking bonkers. Sorry. So there's that story. That's pretty black pilling. I get it. But hey, look, the tide is turning, people. The tide is turning. All we need is for everybody to get out there, everyone, to get their ass off the couch in November, go and vote for Trump, get the man back in office, and things will stabilize. I guarantee it. Right? So we're almost through the hell that's been the last 4 years. Okay? And that will have effects on every other Western country as well. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm definitely rooting for Trump. He will be good for Europe as well. It's going to make Europe learn a couple of hard lessons, but in the end, that's going to be what they need. Now, so what I'm saying is everybody's going to get out there and vote. Everybody's going to get out there and do their part. Trump and Kennedy and Tulsi Gabbard, J.D. Vance, Vivek, Elon Musk, all these people are already on board, right? And they have done all they can do. It's now up to the voters. And you are a part of this process, and you have to be a part of the process. Get involved, go and vote, no excuses. This should be the biggest turnout in American history. Absolutely. It should be. Now, this brings me to my next thing, my next topic for the Insanity Report for today. And that is that Mark Zuckerberg, I think a lot of people heard about this, right? I think Mark Zuckerberg wrote a letter to Jim Jordan, explaining that yes, the Biden administration did put pressure on Facebook to censor people, especially during COVID, Hunter Biden laptop, blah, 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 blah. The whole thing that we've already known all this time, that the Twitter files basically exposed. And there was, of course, no doubt in anybody's mind that this same kind of thing was not going on with Facebook. Now, about a year ago, Mark Zuckerberg admitted on Joe Rogan that, yes, the FBI contacted them about some sort of Russian misinformation. But he also says, look, in the end, it was our decision to censor. We take responsibility. Now, what is Mark Zuckerberg doing here? He also made the promise that he's not going to make the same kind of donations as he did last time to the political process. That doesn't mean he's going to stay out of it. I don't know if he's going to stay out of it or not. I think Mark Zuckerberg, there could be a couple things happening here. First, Zuckerberg thinks, okay, the cool kids are on Trump team, right? And he wants to be part of the cool kids. So he's like, all right, I better just say, look, I want to be part of the cool crowd. I fucked up with this Democrat stuff. Sorry, I won't do it again. We're going to not do it anymore, especially leading up to this election. There's not going to be censorship. And so he's already making that clear. And he wants to be part of the in crowd again, because he sees that the Democratic Party and the left is going to be obsolete, irrelevant, and is going to be the losers of the class, right? He doesn't want to be part of the loser class. That could be one of the things he's doing. Another thing he could be doing is trying to cover his ass, right? He knows Trump is going to get back in. He can read the tea leaves here, right? As can we all. The chance is pretty big that Trump gets back into the White House, right? He's going to get voted back in. And you've got Kennedy, which has a lawsuit against Facebook. It's funny how this letter came out right at the time that Kennedy said, I support Trump, we're on the same team, let's rock, right? So he's got major lawsuits with Kennedy, right? And he knows one of the two, at the very least, will come after Facebook. It's very possible. Facebook played a big part in fucking up the 2020 election. Donald Trump is not exactly over it, okay? Donald Trump, and rightly so, is still pretty pissed off about how the 2020 election went, and I'm sure he will be looking for heads to collect when he becomes president. At least I wish he does. I hope he does. And Mark Zuckerberg knows that his head is scheduled to be put on a pike in front of the White House if Trump becomes president again. So he might just be covering his ass here. He might just be saying, look, guys, hey, we were pressured by the Biden administration. We shouldn't have fallen for the pressure, but we did in certain cases. And we're not going to do it again. We're going to hold up our end. We're going to stop doing it. Because the fact is, if Section 230 gets taken away from Zuckerberg, they're screwed, right? They're screwed. And this also comes on the heels kind of when Pavel Durov got arrested, which is also odd, right? Now Brazil is getting ready to fucking try to suspend X because Elon Musk didn't show up to this fucking bald-headed lunatic's courtroom in Brazil, Which I would never do either. Like, hey, go fuck yourself. That's Elon Musk's favorite phrase, right? Go fuck yourself, right? I would never go, not to Brazil. And if I was Elon, I wouldn't travel to Europe either right now, because they also want his head, because he's also refusing to censor us as citizens of Europe, because he believes in free speech, and his platform is for free speech, and he doesn't give a shit about what the European Union wants. And rightly so. Now, guys, remember, if the European Union or Brazil or anybody bans Facebook or X or anything, just get yourself a VPN. They're not expensive. ExpressVPN is the best one, in my opinion, right? I'm not plugging them. I guess I am plugging them, but I'm not getting paid to plug them, right? Get a VPN. You skirt that shit ASAP. You get back on Twitter, back on X, back on Facebook. You don't have to worry about that shit. These people are paper tigers. They can't censor the internet as much as they want to try. Now, England's taking a different approach. They're not trying to censor the internet. They're just combing through the internet and arresting people that say things they don't like, right? So they're actually putting their own citizens in prison for speaking out against the immigration problem they're having there and the Islamist attack problem they're having there. The same problem we're having here in Germany. And the British government is leftists, all leftists, complete lunatics, and they don't like that, so they're just going to start throwing people in jail. That's another approach. That could also happen, you know what I mean? Could happen. So then what you do is you make yourself anonymous, get a VPN, and continue to talk shit. Simple as that. Continue to talk shit. Fuck them. Go around it every way you can. That's my advice. And there are ways to do it. Do not back down. Do not allow yourself to be censored. Do not allow yourself to be canceled. And if you have to go about it by doing it anonymously, getting on the dark web, getting on the web through proxies like ExpressVPN, do it that way. These governments are powerless to stop it. And that's hilarious. I love it. I love it. It's great, right? So if this goes any further, you're going to have a whole bunch of people like me wearing masks and shit talking on the internet, because you can't expose who you are because you get arrested for talking, right? I mean, that's where we're headed. Now, if Trump wins and some of these other right-wing parties win, we might be able to turn the ship around a little bit before it's too late. So, what's Mark Zuckerberg doing? Yeah, who knows? Look, I know that there's a lot of people out there like, fuck Mark Zuckerberg, man, prick. He's just covering his ass. He's not genuine. Look, I'm kind of leaning towards that as well. I don't imagine that if the Democrats were getting ready to win, that he would change course like this. Because he just wants to go where the way the wind blows, kind of, you know what I mean? I think that's basically it. But it is possible that people change, right? You've got to give people at least a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. Now, that doesn't mean trust Mark Zuckerberg to babysit your kids or, to handle your money or whatever the hell, you know what I'm saying? But just sit back, wait and see what he does. Maybe he did say that he found it extremely badass that Donald Trump gets shot in the face and then jumps up and yells, fight, 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 with blood streaming down his face. I mean, dude, I thought that was badass. Everybody thought that was badass. That wasn't badass. He's the shit. Okay? We know it. And Mark Zuckerberg knows it. Maybe that moment showed Mark Zuckerberg, hey, man, I was wrong about this dude. This dude is a fucking maniac. Right? Maybe that's what he thought. So, who knows? He might change. He might be a changed man. I don't know. But don't discount him right away. And remember, this is good for our side, okay? When people fall in line, doesn't matter for what reason, okay? But when people fall in line and say, okay, I'm going to take the side, I'm going to jump on the winning side here. This is crazy. I'm going to be on Team Trump. I'm not saying he's going to vote for Trump, okay? But he's falling in line. He is, getting his affairs in order for the moment that Trump becomes president again. And that is a good thing. That is a good thing because it will keep him in check. And that's what we need. And I think that's a good thing. So, guys, think about it. Don't discount the guy offhand. Who knows what he's doing? It could be a couple of things. And, hold out hope and go out and vote. If you think that what happened to the January 6th guy, 4 years in prison for basically walking into the Capitol building and disagreeing with the establishment, if you think he should not get 4 years, you think that's a horrible thing, then don't donate money to him. Don't cry about him. Don't pray for him. Go and vote for Donald Trump so this man can get released from prison. And Mark Zuckerberg, hey, great that you're not going to be putting your thumb on the scale this time around. Guys, if you like my videos, if you like my articles, and if you want more of them, and if you want them in your inbox directly when they come out, as soon as they're published, they get emailed out to everybody. If you subscribe to my Substack, the links are below. You can do it free. You can also do it for $5 a month, which I would greatly appreciate. Any support is great. If you're watching this on another platform, like Rumble or YouTube or TikTok, then you can follow me there. Please do. Follow me on X. Yeah. My X handle is @wokerepellent. And my Substack handle is it'sallaboutlogic.substack.com, because even if you follow me on Rumble, YouTube, or Twitter or X or TikTok or whatever, those are all great, but I would like people to join my Substack page, because that's where you get all the context. So even if you follow me everywhere else, go ahead and join my Substack page. Do it for free. Do it for $5 a month. Either way, I'm happy to get my message out, to get more subscribers and more supporters. And guys, I want you guys to have a great weekend. It's been another maddening week. It's been insane, but there are a lot of white pills this week. You know, there are a lot of white pills this week. Think about those. Don't let yourself get too black pilled, depressed, bogged down. We're gonna take this. We're gonna win this. I'm almost 100% positive. It's just I'm scared to say that, because I don't want to put people back in this apathetic position. Like, okay, well, cool, we've got it in the bag, so I don't have to go vote. I don't have to take my day off. You know, no, everybody's got to go vote. That's my message over and over again, guys. Have a great weekend. We'll see you guys on Monday. Don't forget about the weekly rant coming out tomorrow, and the podcast recommendations also coming out over the weekend. Subscribe below. Have a great night and have a great evening.